Welcome to the Double Duty Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Carla Higgins, and you've tuned into the Coach's Corner. This is a segment where we tackle real-world challenges submitted by our listeners, and sometimes I'll even call a strategic play you can put into action right away. Each week we dive into the questions, roadblocks, and opportunities you're facing as a double duty agent. Whether it's mastering your time use management, finding that next client, or staying motivated after a long day of work at your 9-to-5, Coach's Corner is here to provide you with practical solutions and actionable steps to keep your business moving forward. So grab your notepad because we're about to break down a new challenge or hand you a winning play you can implement today to start seeing results. So let's jump right in. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm Carla Higgins, and I am your host of the Double Duty Agent Podcast. And today we're talking about something really exciting and absolutely essential as we wrap up the year. And we have to get ready. We got to launch into 2025. So we are going to be talking about setting meaningful, actionable goals for the new year. Now, I want you to think about setting goals as if you're planning a road trip. Just like when you plug your destination into your phone's GPS, setting goals help us get closer to the route from where we are now to where we want to be in the future. I mean, just think about it. If you were headed from wherever you live to, across country, I don't know, let's say we're going to California. I mean, the first thing we know, we're going to California, but California is a really long state. If we don't have a destination in mind and we do not know where we're starting from, well, we're going to have a hard time getting there. That's just the thing, right? So, okay, let's start with the first step of any road trip, and that is absolutely starting where you are right now. Right? Before we can plan a route, we need to know exactly where we are right now in our business, just like we would need to know our starting point in order to get directions. In order to do this, you need to ask yourself a few key questions, and you may actually need to do just a little bit of research. It shouldn't take you too long, but it's going to be important research because you need to do this informed, right? We need to be informed when we're setting our goals. All right. So, how many people do you have in your database? What's the quality of the information that you have in your database? If you're at Keller Williams, you can look in Command and you can look at your health score. That would be a really good number for you to know what the health score of your database is. If you're not at Keller Williams or you don't use Command, then you need to look in whatever CRM you use and you need to figure out, do you have all of the contact information that you need, right? You need their name, you need their address, you need their email, you need their phone number at a minimum. You also might need their birthdays, their anniversaries, the anniversary of when they purchased their home. Do they own a home or are they a renter? These are the kinds of information that we need in our database. And you need to grade yourself on the quality and quantity of your database. Also, we need to look at, what does your current pipeline look like? Do you know how many active listings you have? How many pending deals you have right now? You also need to know the number of closed deals that you had this year, because that's really important information when we start forecasting into the next year. Also, look at, what have you already put in your pipeline? People that are looking and thinking that they're going to sell next spring, or they have a lease coming up next year and they've already told you when they're going to be moving. That's your pipeline. And we want to make sure we know what's in our pipeline at all times. But right now, it's very critical as well. Right. We also need to have a clear picture as to what your market looks like. We need to know what the average home sale price is in the area where you're working, or with the demographic or the niche that you're in. So, for instance, if you primarily work with investors, your average home sale price might be a little bit lower than the average for your MLS. If you work in a niche market and maybe it's a luxury market, maybe your average home sale price is higher than the average home sale price in your MLS. And if you're just starting out and you're a brand new agent and you don't have a clue, then at a minimum, you need to know what the average home sale price is in your MLS. And then you also need to know your commission rate. And this is negotiable. You negotiate your commission with your buyers and your sellers. It's not a set amount, but you should have an idea of what you need to earn, what you charge for your services, because that's the starting point of any negotiation, is that you know what your value is and you know what you're offering and what you charge for the services that you provide. So, we're going to take a minute and really think about where you're at in your real estate business right now and get really specific with these numbers. The more specific you are and the more information you have, the more meaningful the goals that you set for 2025 will be. This is going to help us create a clear, honest starting point so we can map out a plan that will really work getting you to your goals for next year. All right. After we know where we are right now we have to get really clear on the destination. Like I said, we can't just say we're driving to California. We got to know where in California. And we're going to need to know why. Okay. That's kind of important too. And you've been with me before, you have to be really clear on your reason. If your reason's not big enough, the resistance will always win. So we need to know why we're headed to that destination as well. In my analogy, if you don't know why you're headed to wherever you chose in California, let's say San Diego, if you don't have some important reason to be there, when you hit a detour or your car breaks down along the way, you might just give up. But if you have a very important reason to get there, you'll get the car fixed. You'll not worry about the detour and you will arrive. So that's kind of continuing this analogy of our road trip. All right, so let's talk about our destination in real estate. We need to choose a destination, and we're again going to need a few pieces of information. And the first one is, where are you headed 5 years from now? In The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, they talk about goal setting to the now. And this is what we do. We look 5 years, or if it's different for you, it doesn't have to be 5 years, but we need to look into the future. Where would we like to be? The reason why we choose 5 years is Gary has told us we can be anywhere we'd like to be 5 years from now. Now, as a double duty agent, perhaps that means transitioning from being double duty to being full time real estate, or maybe it doesn't. It doesn't matter. For those of you like me, as we're approaching retirement age, that goal setting out into the future that we have to worry about our goals this year getting us there, it might have something to do with retirement. So it could be if you're starting a family, you want to buy a home, whatever that looks like, we need to know where we are headed. It doesn't have to be 100%. And it doesn't mean that if you change your mind along the way, it's a problem, but we just have to have that destination in mind, the long term destination. And then what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where we need to be next year so that we're on track to get there in 5 years. That long term vision, it is going to help you choose a meaningful destination that just simply what we're looking for here is alignment. We're making sure that our goals align with where we ultimately want to end up. And then you need to look at your current financial situation. You need to take a look at your personal budget. And I know for a lot of you, if you're like me, this isn't a fun project, but it's super important. If we don't love on our money, if we don't take care of it, well, we're not open to receiving more. And we need to be open to receiving more. So we need to be really clear about our budget. And you need to think about what you need from your business to support your life, right? That's what we're looking for. We're going to look for, what do you need from your business to support your life? And then a little bit, we're going to talk about what your business needs from you. That's the other part of goal setting. And then we also have to get an idea of your business budget. If you're at Keller Williams, you need to know your percentage split with your market center and what your cap is. You also need to know what your board fees are. If for your MLS, you need to know what those are. If you pay office rent, if you pay office fees for copiers and all of the things for signs, all of those things, we just need to have an idea of what our expenses are going to be for our business. And finally, you have to think about the time that you have available to dedicate to real estate each week. This is a time budget, really. And it's important. It's just as important as your financial budget because they all have to be in alignment with one another. And once you have all of this information, you are going to be ready to set your destination. It's so exciting. Set your goals, set your destination. And this is going to be your annual goal for 2025 right now as I'm recording this. But this will apply for every year. You go through this exercise each and every year. All right. After we've done that, now it is time to plan our route or route. It's one of those potato, right? Route or route. You're going to choose your lead generation strategies. So, when you're starting out on a trip across the country, right? You're going to put in where I am right now and the destination where I'm headed. And your GPS app is going to give you some different routes that you can take to get there. And we kind of do the same thing when we set our goals for real estate. We use something called a GPS, right? Which is super cool. And that stands for goals, priorities, and strategies. Our goals, priorities, and strategies. Well, this comes from The One Thing again by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, which if you don't have a copy of that book and you haven't read it, please put that on your growth plan and get that read. But these routes, really, they boil down to our lead generation strategies and systems. We're going to choose which of those we're going to use. And, we can choose one, we can choose two, we can choose three. We really don't want to choose any more than three, especially as a double duty agent, because you're just going to overwhelm yourself. And we did the lead generation mastery workshop a couple of weeks ago, and that is available now. You can get the recording and all of the materials, and that might help you determine what lead generation system will work for you. It's really important that how are we going to get there, right? We need to figure that out. So we're going to use this GPS, and it's going to help you figure out exactly how you're going to get from where you are right now to where you want to be. So we have our route planned out. It's about now navigating each step of the journey. In your car, the GPS gives you turn-by-turn directions, helping you get from point A to point B. In your business, we use the exact same thing, and that's your GPS framework. And then we use the 411. And the 411 is going to break down the elements of your GPS into what you're going to do for the year, for the quarter, for the month, for the day. You're going to boil this down, and this is going to become, have you ever I have no idea what to do today? Well, after you go through this process and you create your GPS and you create your 411, then you should never say that again. You will always know exactly what do I need to do today to be on track to my goals. All right. So we're going to do this. The 411, it's going to give you turn-by-turn directions, and it's going to break down your annual goal into these bite-sized daily actions of what you can do each day. And these are going to keep you on course and ensure you make progress every single week. All right, now you have the roadmap. It's time to put it into action. If you want to dive deeper and create your own custom roadmap for 2025, I got just the thing for you. On Saturday, November 23rd, I'm hosting a goal setting workshop. It's on Zoom. It is going to be from 10 to 12:30 Eastern time. And like all of my workshops, it's just $29. And you are going to leave the workshop with clearly defined SMART goals, specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound, those SMART goals. And you're going to leave there with SMART goals, a GPS framework, and a 411 plan to guide you throughout your year next year. We'll work together so you can get those set up and you can have your best year yet. So you're going to start with clarity, purpose, and an actual real plan for success, and a roadmap that gives you all the way down to what you do every day. So I will hope to see you there. And for right now, thank you so much for tuning into today's Coach's Corner. And remember, setting meaningful goals is the first step towards a successful year. So let's make sure we're clear on our starting point, our destination, and the route to get there. And until next time, keep focused, stay motivated, and let's make 2025 the year that you rise as a double duty agent. I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're leaving inspired and you found a key or two you're going to try out this week to see how they help you to unlock your success. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single story. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can find me at doubledutypodcast.com. That link is also in the show notes. Until next time, have a productive week.